captured on the body of a loved one was kept alive as long as possible in a tiny gilt cage. At its death, it was enshrined in a locket. In the 15th century, high society ladies started to wear special furs called flea furs, often decorated with precious stones and gold. The furs trapped the fleas they attracted, but these were reserved for women. Men did not wear them. The reason is simple. Although at that time men's garments were as ornate as women's, it seems that fleas do not live on men. Every evening, the fleas were removed from the women's furs. Up until the 20th century, as many English postcards show, flea removal was an obligatory everyday activity. While old postcards at the flea market are artistic and satiric, lice cards are a real ethnological record. In Brittany, lice hunts were such that these glorious combats were immortalized by hundreds of postcards made by the best photographers of the time. And nobody was offended to receive them from friends or family. Some Breton ladies remember this.
Time for a good gossip. How are you doing? I remember this one. I can see my mother looking for lice in my hair. My brother stood behind my mother laughing and watching. There I am. I must have been 12 at the time. I did them in turn. I remember my children saying that they sat next to the doctor's children in school and that the doctor's children also had lice. Is that true?
In order to bear witness to his quest, Professor Dobie organizes mobile stands for his symposia. How to know everything about fleas and lice and the history of art that you never dared to ask. A book of 400 pages listing the collected work is now available, a really titanic task. And as the professor likes to remind us, the flea is a very agreeable insect, and I'm persuaded that it should take up its place in the accessories of poetry beside the peacock and the pomegranate. Contemporary art is also interested by fleas. Fleas have become the creative universe of Ponda, a young painter who spends a lot of time in art galleries in Santa Cruz, California. Her bestiary is filled with all the aliens from our nightmares.
I'm a friend to these nasty creatures that other people are repulsed by, and in my art I look for horrifying subjects that would give other people nightmares, and I like to put them in my art because it wakes people up and perhaps provokes them into seeing things in a new way. And usually when they see them the first time, they're drawn in by the colors and the shapes, and then they look and they say, but it's a flea.
This creator of contemporary art calls himself an artistic dictator. It's true that he works using thousands of dead flies which have been raised to be killed and used in art. For fly slaughterer Jean-Marie Jabadin, his works do not blaspheme God or man. They are only a material which enables him to express his macabre visions. These precious dead bodies are piled up in thousands in a coffer, waiting to be reborn in artwork. Born to die, the flies of the art dictator are killed in programmed catastrophes. All the bodies are sorted out carefully, and the deformed or underdeveloped are systematically removed. This maniac task has no mercantile vision, but is an obsessional destiny.
Everything started with a childhood vision. I saw the roof of a huge army tent covered with wriggling insects, and this vision has never left me. I agree with critics who say my work must have something to do with genocide. When the gas enters the room, you only think of saving yourself and try to find the exit. The weakest are crushed by the strongest. It's terrible. There are screams, cries, and total despair. And I imagine all this through flies.
Girardin's works are dedicated to all human catastrophes wherever men fall like flies. The reflection of the viewer becomes a shared approach to death. When the art dictator opens an exhibition, it is a wake dedicated to fly people. Other artists aren't only interested by the insect, but by what it makes. In this way, spider silk is a luxury product for a lot of high fashion designers. The problem is harvesting enough of the precious substance. Frenchman Gerard Fivet is convinced that spider breeding is possible on a large scale and that there is no need at all to call upon artificial silk for certain productions. He has in fact created his own system of silk extraction. His workers, Madagascar Nephilas spiders, are attached by their abdomens and isolated in individual cages. The thread is drawn out and wound using a small motor at a rate of 200 meters of silk per hour and per spider. Gerard Fivet sees no reason why spider silk should not be marketed, given that silk from the cocoons of Bombyx mori has been collected in a non-industrial fashion for 50 centuries. During the reign of Louis XIV, due to a lack of sufficiently large spiders in France, silk was collected from their cocoons. Indeed, all female spiders wrap their eggs in a protective silk cocoon. This cocoon consists of silk threads of different diameters, which makes spinning a delicate task. Despite this difficulty, Louis XIV was the first sovereign to wear socks and a vest made of spider silk. Charles Fivet feels that, given the abundance of Nephilas spiders in Madagascar, many unemployed people could be given jobs collecting silk. Already in the 19th century, the missionary Paul Cambouet carried out the first industrial trials of spider silk weaving in Madagascar.
Le père Cambouet a élaboré un tissu pour l'exposition universelle de Paris en 1900, un tissu de 3 mètres sur 5 pour lequel il a fallu entre 400 et 500 000 araignées. Si ces chiffres-là paraissent énormes, il faut les comparer avec la production du Bombyx qui avoisine ces chiffres-là.
These immense web frames enabled the spiders to maintain their territories. At their feet, perfumed plants attracted insects to the webs in great numbers. This belt has been woven entirely from spider silk. Fabrics made of spider silk have a more subtle glow than those made from Bombyx silk.
Les grands couturiers ne se sont pas trompés dans la question. Eux sont amateurs et veulent de la soie d'araignée pour travailler du textile d'une autre façon.
Tu n'as pas la phobie de la toile d'araignée?
Pas des toiles d'araignée, des araignées, oui, mais...
Parce que je t'ai préparé.
Made a small scarf with about a square meter, a little more even, of spider web, and I'd like you to put it on.